Can a single copper coin change someone's life? What if the true value of a gift wasn't the object itself, but the trust and reputation behind it? Stay with us until the very end to discover the surprising lesson in The King's Gift. If you enjoy inspiring and meaningful stories like this, please subscribe to @TheStoryEchoEnglish, like this video, and share it with your friends and family. Your support helps us bring you more wonderful stories every week. Now, let's begin the inspiring story of The King's Gift.
The King's Gift. There was once a wise king who often traveled through the villages of his kingdom. Whenever he visited a village, he would spend the night in the home of an ordinary family instead of staying in a palace or guest house. He ate with them, talked to them, and learned about the challenges they faced in their daily lives. Before leaving the next morning, he would give the family a gift or a few gold coins according to their financial condition. This helped him understand the true lives of his people. In one such village lived a poor man named Sagar with his family. He worked very hard every day, but his small income was barely enough to support his household. One day, Sagar learned that the king would soon be visiting his village. An idea immediately came to his mind. He borrowed money from a moneylender and began renovating his house. He repaired the broken walls, painted the entire house, decorated the walls with beautiful designs, cleaned the courtyard, and neatly plastered it with clay. Then he eagerly waited for the king's arrival. On the day of the visit, he decorated his house with flower garlands, drew a colorful rangoli at the entrance, lit decorative lamps, and stood outside, hoping the king would pass by his home. When the king arrived, Sagar humbly invited him to stay at his house for the night. Impressed by the beautifully decorated home, the king accepted the invitation. Sagar and his wife were overjoyed. Using the borrowed money, they prepared a grand feast with delicious traditional dishes for their royal guest. The king was deeply touched by their warm hospitality. The next morning, after breakfast, the king prepared to leave. Sagar was filled with excitement. He was certain that the king would reward him with a priceless diamond, a golden necklace, or at least a large bag of gold coins. Before leaving, the king called Sagar near him and asked him to hold out his hand. Sagar happily stretched out his hand. The king asked him to close his eyes. He placed something in Sagar's palm and said, "Now open your eyes, but don't open your fist until I have left." Sagar was convinced that he had received something extremely valuable. As soon as the king departed, he eagerly opened his hand. To his surprise, there was only a single copper coin. The king had assumed that Sagar's family was financially comfortable because the house looked neat and well-maintained. So he had given only a symbolic gift, a single copper coin. Sagar was devastated. He had dreamed of paying off the moneylender's debt with the king's reward and using the remaining money to support his family. Now all those dreams had been shattered. That night, worry kept him awake. Then suddenly, a clever idea struck him. The next morning, he wrapped the copper coin in a piece of red cloth and carried it to the village square. Standing before the crowd, he loudly announced, "The king has given me an extremely precious gift. 2 days from now, I will auction it publicly. Whoever places the highest bid will own it." The news spread throughout the village like wildfire. Eventually, it reached the king as well. The king knew very well that he had given Sagar nothing more than a copper coin. 2 days later, he disguised himself and quietly attended the auction. The bidding began with a small amount. But Sagar kept saying, "This is no ordinary gift. It was personally given by the king himself. Surely it deserves a much higher price." Slowly, the bids became larger, then even larger. Watching this, the king grew increasingly anxious. He thought to himself, "If people discover that my precious gift is nothing more than a copper coin, what will they think of me? My reputation will be ruined." Finally, the king ordered his soldiers to stop the auction and summoned Sagar to the royal palace. Smiling, the king asked, "Sagar, You knew all along that I had given you only a copper coin, didn't you? Sagar respectfully replied, Yes, Your Majesty. But people were not bidding for the coin, they were bidding for your reputation and the trust they have in you. The king was deeply impressed by Sagar's wisdom. He rewarded him with twice the highest bid from the auction and took back the copper coin. Sagar returned home overjoyed. He paid off all his debts and used the remaining money to provide a comfortable life for his family. The true value of an object does not lie in the object itself, but in the trust and reputation behind it.